Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 277. So today's vlog is probably going to be a little bit shorter than normal because my voice is having a tough time holding up, and I've got to be on a podcast in about 45 minutes that I need a little bit of voice. And so here's the deal. A few things I want to talk about today. One is an amazing question that I read the other day, and I am still I'm still processing this question. It was actually, let me read the question and then I'll get to some other stuff. It's from our friend Shane Malika, or sorry for butchering your name, brother. He says, business question. Part of getting what you want is knowing what you have to give up to get it. Wait a second, huh? Oh, what do you feel you had to give up in order to achieve your level of success? If you and your wife decided to have children and start a family, do you feel that that would have changed the trajectory of your business? Whoa! So this question absolutely rocked my world. And so Shane, good job, because I've been thinking about it ever since I read this. And I want to talk about it a little bit today. But before I do, I want to tell you about a humongous, expensive mistake that Tiege Hanley just endured. So we just lost $20,000. And the reason is because we are in the process of switching from, from ShipStation to Desktop Shipper. Those are two different platforms and systems for you to process orders and ship. So this was all just a mistake. And the way that it worked is that on Saturday, so Mondays are our busiest shipping day. So Saturday, one of our team members was in there, and we are in the process of switching between Desktop Shipper and ShipStation. And so we are leaving ShipStation because it kind of sucks, and we are going to Desktop Shipper because it's a much more robust plan and platform for us to be able to handle doing a bunch of different things in terms of tagging of orders and stuff like that. Anyway, it is not a quick, simple thing to just push a button and be okay, we're now over here, we were over here, everything's done. It takes a lot of finesse, it takes a lot of sort of learning the system, and there's a process to actually be fully integrated and fully switched over. And so in the process that we are in, or I should say, we are in that process of switching over. Well, what happened is somebody was there on Saturday, one of our team members, and processed orders, right? And then on Monday came in and processed orders some more. Different person. They forgot to actually clear the orders that were processed or shipped on Saturday in this new system, so they were still sitting there. And so we sent our cost, $20,000 worth of product and shipping to people, which means the people, some of you guys are lucky because you got a double shipment. And it's bad for us because, what do we do? What do you do? You eat it. That's what you do. And so we did. It was a very expensive learning experience, $20,000, just poof, gone. And it sucked, but just wanted to tell you, for you guys out there that got 2 boxes, congratulations. And for those of you who are thinking about switching platforms, always remember there's a human degree there's always, technology is fine, but the fact is, humans, we make mistakes and we make issues and errors and stuff like that. It was a big one. Unfortunately, it wasn't caught until it was too late, and that is kind of something we dealt with. But it's okay, we can handle it, but it still sucks losing 20 grand that could have been spent, doing something else that's awesome. So anyway, just wanted to let you know we have shared the good, but we also definitely share the bad. And this was definitely a bad, but everybody makes mistakes, and you and your business and entrepreneurial journey will be no exception. You're going to screw some things up too. Hopefully, you're going to not screw a lot of things up, and hopefully those mistakes are small and you catch them quickly, but we just lost 20 grand. So that sucks any way you shake it. Now, let's talk about this amazing business question. So let me read this business question again real quick. He says, part of getting what you want means knowing what you have to give up to get it. What do you feel you have given up in order to achieve your level of success if you guys decide to have children and start a family? Do you think that would change the trajectory of your business? Let's answer that first. And the answer is yes. Yes, if we had kids or if I had a family, and it would definitely have affected the growth and the trajectory, or I should say my ability to work the way that I want to work. I see it. I see it with my buddy Antonio Centeno. And I'm not saying he's not completely fulfilled having a family, and that's more fulfilling than having a lot of money, of course, right? But for me, ever since I was literally 12 years old, I knew what I wanted to do for myself. I wanted to own a gym, that's what I thought, but the bottom line was that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be successful, right? Now, at the time, I didn't know what success looked like, other than I thought, I was going to be like, making a bunch of money in the fitness industry. But I always knew that I wanted to have a business and be an entrepreneur from, like I said, 12 years old. And so it was never on the table, like going and getting a regular job and just like working somewhere. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur from the age of 12. And so everything I did was in pursuit of that. But along the way, part of the problem with that, and one of the things that I did definitely give up during that time, was security and comfort. Because the truth is, for me, there were some really, really, really dark years, like decades of darkness in terms of where other people were kind of like ascending the corporate ladder, had security and like a 9-to-5 job, and then could just like leave work, on the weekends and not think about it, and they had security. I didn't have that. And there were times where I remember looking at my wife and being like super jealous. I saw her going to work, having her 401k, putting in her time, going to work, and I was jealous at times. I was very jealous. Like, man, it would have been really nice to not have to stress out about money. It would be really nice not to lose $20,000. It'd be really nice to be able to leave it on Friday, come back on Monday, and just really enjoy my weekend. Because when I decided to be an entrepreneur, it was like solo focus. Like, that's what I thought about. That's what I worked towards. And for many, many years, it was gut-wrenching. It was absolutely gut-wrenching to try and to want and to try and build something that you wanted. Like, I wanted that fitness center to succeed like I wanted oxygen. It was like, if I could, like when I say I would have sold a kidney to keep that dream alive, I would have done it. And so along that journey, that ended up not working out, and that's good that it didn't work out, because I don't think I would be where I am today if that had succeeded, or succeeded even a little better. I would have rode that train until it crashed. But along the way, it was hard. It was hard. When you have like a failure as an entrepreneur, you almost develop like PTSD syndrome, right? It's post-traumatic stress, because it was so hard, it was so brutal, it was so emotional, it was so heartbreaking that you suffer the consequences as a result. And that's something that I definitely have done. My assistant Debbie actually was the one who sort of said, hey, I read this thing online about entrepreneurs that fail. They suffer years in terms of emotional distress and problems from that. But that's one thing that I gave up. I gave up comfort. I gave up security. Now the crazy thing is that now, like, my security, I am much like my position. I am much more secure in terms of my job than my wife is. Honestly, she's been let go. When the recession hit back in 2006, 7, 8. She went through like a few jobs. She went from making $100,000 a year that I was super like, oh man, if I could ever make $100,000 a year, that would be unbelievable, right? I'd be like super, I'd be in an amazing position, because up until that point that I did actually make $100,000, I was making like, $20,000 a year. But she, when the market collapsed, she was working for a company that sold products to Home Depot, or was a product rep group for Home Depot. That went away. The business shut down. She lost her job. She went from making $100,000 to like her next job was like $28,000. And she left there and went to another company and then made like $35,000. I mean, she had gone through a few different businesses, a few different jobs in order to sort of climb back up, clawing and scratching up that corporate ladder. And so security, I would say, is definitely something that I did not have. A nice, comfortable feeling in my stomach of, oh, I'm going to be fine because I've got a great job and I'm just going to work and this is all going to be great. I didn't have that. And there were many, 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 many nights that I didn't sleep because I was so worried about paying my bills. I was so stressed out about, everything falling down around me. Now, it's not that way. Fast forward to me actually being successful. Now, let me just explain this. And I don't know if you'll believe me, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I get emotional. Why do I get so emotional? Anyway, what I realize now, what success looks like to me is very different than what I used to think it was. What it looks like to me now is having the freedom to do what I want. That's one thing. But it's also feeling like I'm making a difference and not having to worry about money and being able to take care of my family. Like, it's not watches, it's not cars, it's not stuff. It's the freedom, and that's the thing, and why, a lot of people talk about, hey, I want to be successful, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want the freedom. Well, with that freedom comes a lot of things that you do actually have to give away, or give up, I should say. Now, for me, I had to give up. Or I should say, it's not that I gave them up because I didn't really know that I never really wanted to do them, because the one thing I wanted was to be successful and feel like I was making a difference. And so what I had to give up and what I've lost along the way are some friendships, honestly, or some people that I just, it's not that they're bad people, but I outgrew them. Or I should say we grew in different directions. But that being said, along the journey, I have collected better friends, people that I connect with much, much more. I don't enjoy going to functions. I don't enjoy going to parties with other couples or other people. And the reason is because they don't get me. I don't get them, and they don't get me. And it's hard to sort of just like, shoot the shit and talk about just stuff when I know that they're very happy, they're comfortable with their 9-to-5 jobs, but I'm a different animal. I'm an entrepreneur, right? This is what I do. This is what I live for. This is what I breathe for. I've also, given up my ability to not think about work ever. If I'm being absolutely honest, I never don't think about my businesses. I'm always thinking about it. People are like, oh, don't you ever take time off? Yeah, sure, I do. I decompress. I go for runs on weekends. I, take short little vacations, like 2 days is like kind of my limit. But that's not, like, I get more joy and satisfaction out of being an entrepreneur and being successful, not the money, but the fact that what I'm trying and what I'm doing is valuable and valuable to other people, and people are actually enjoying what I'm doing. That's the thing that I always wanted. I wanted people to, I wanted to feel like I was making a difference, and I know that I am. And so for me, I like, and I like to, I should say, I like to fantasize about not worrying or stressing about business, because the truth is, and this is something that Kelly Thornton, my business partner at Tiege, will talk about in one of his favorite quotes. In terms of online business, if you are not growing, you are going backwards. There's no staying flat. You always need to be focused on growth. And I am a firm believer in that. Whether or not it's YouTube, whether or not it's Pete and Pedro, whether or not it's Tiege Hanley, whether or not it's Enemy, if I am not growing, I am regressing. And the thought of that, like if you actually wrap your brain around that, it's all consuming a lot of times. Not to say poor me or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. But you lose the freedom to not give a shit. In terms of vacations, I could afford to go on, I could afford, if I'm being honest, I could afford to never work again in my life. I could do that. I could downsize, I could, sell all the shit that I have, my real estate, I could be cool, right? My wife loves the idea of being able to retire. Like, she loves the idea. I'm like, what would you do? You need purpose. You need direction. You need something. The reason why you love vacations, the reason why you love weekends is because you don't get to do that every day. But when you could, it takes all the fun out of it. It takes all the enjoyment. One of the things that I love to do more than anything is go for a walk in the mountains. Like, I live by a mountain in Marietta. Every weekend, twice, like on Saturday and on Sunday, I'll go for my run, but then I will put my earphones on, go to the mountain, and I'll just walk, and I'll think, and be amongst nature. It is one of the simple things that I love doing on this earth more than anything. Going for a bike ride, going for a walk, going out to eat. It's these simple things. For me, that fills my soul and that renews my spirit. Some other things that I don't do is vacation. I could also afford to go on like exotic, amazing vacations, but I've never really enjoyed vacations. And I know that one of the reasons why I don't enjoy vacations, it's actually kind of, I'll tell you a story real quick. I know this is probably getting long, and what times? Anyway, are you enjoying this? If you guys enjoy this, please drop me one of these. It would definitely help the video out. Anyway, I think the reason why I don't like going on vacations is because I was traumatized. As you guys know, I came from a few different, stepfather situations. Well, one of the situations, there was a summer trip, or my mom was like, hey, you're going to go visit your cousins down Atlantic City, New Jersey. I love doing that, right? Every summer, I would go once or twice down to see my cousins. I went to see my cousins, and I was having a great time. I went back, and during that point, or that time, my mom had gotten all her stuff and secretly moved from this one stepfather who was abusive, and she did it sort of like, all in secret and all that stuff. She just grabbed all her crap and left and went to our grandparents' house. And so I went from the school to my grandparents' house. It was the summer, and so I didn't have to go like right back. But that situation and feeling like, oh my God, like I don't want to go on vacation. I want security. And for me, I really value security and comfort. And I should say I find a lot of comfort in that sort of security. And so that is one of the reasons why I think I don't like going on vacations. The other thing is that I don't vacation well. I am always needing to do something. And that's something where it's everybody that I'm friends with now kind of understands that, but I'm the worst person to go on a vacation with. Even like 2 days or 3 days, I'm thinking that I need to go do this, and I'm just an active person. And so while everybody else wants to be just like sitting on the beach drinking, I want to be out like jogging or running or going and doing stuff, and I'm swimming. Like, I am the worst person to vacation with. Did I give that up because I'm successful? No, I just think I'm a bit, I don't know, it's probably part of it. And the last part of this question is, do I think that not having kids has allowed me to be more successful than I would if I had had kids? And the answer is yes. If I'm being honest, I feel like not having children and my wife and I being on the same page and her being cool with me being me, if I had a family, I could not do what I do in terms of work the way that I work. Now, am I always maximizing my productivity? No. But I would have to be present with children and a family like that. I am present with my wife. I am present, we are present together in our relationship the way that we have come to sort of grow as a couple. She understands me. She understands it. Now, does she like the fact that I'm successful? Yeah. So is she willing? Has she given up having a husband around all the time, doing things and husbandy things and hanging pictures when I would prefer to hire somebody now because my time is more valuable to do other stuff and to be creative? For me, so much of what I do requires me to be creative. So much of what I do requires me to be able to think and not worry about other stuff, that if I had a family, there's no way that I could be as successful as I am with what I chose to do in the direction that I chose to do it. And I see that with Antonio Centeno. And like I said, to kind of bring this full circle, I'm not saying that he is not 100,000% super fulfilled, but he and I have had conversations about him wishing that he could spend and dedicate more time to doing the things he needs to do in order to propel his business. But he's got a bunch of kids. He's got a family that takes priority and precedent. And so, will I someday regret not having kids? I don't know. Do I at this age, 44 years old? No. I am very, very fulfilled, if I'm being completely honest. I love what I do. But from the age of 12, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be successful. My businesses are my children. They're my babies. And I put a lot of effort and time into that. And so have I given stuff up? Yeah. Do I really think about it? Never. And when I'm pressed to actually think about the things that I've given up, I don't really think about them as things that I've given up because I'm living my life. I'm living my dream. I'm living from the age of 12 what I've always wanted to do, and that is to be an entrepreneur and be successful. My version of what success means has changed, and it will change and adapt, and you know, it'll change for you as well. But this was such, as you can probably tell, this question really kind of hit me because I never really thought about what have I given up in order to get where I am. But hopefully you dug this video. And if you have a business question, guys, down below, start it with business question. Next week, I'll get to some more of your questions. I don't know if this vlog was long or short. I think I probably rambled a lot, but it felt good to talk about it. And if you guys got the value from it, you know, I hope you did. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share my perspective. What an incredible question, Shane. Like, seriously, well done. If you got any more questions that are going to make my brain hurt, please, down in the comments. Start it with business question. Next week, we'll get to some more of your specific business questions and also tell you and give you some more updates. Guys, thank you so much for always rolling with us. Thank you so much because we love you more than our double monk strap shoes. And my voice is actually held up relatively well. Gentlemen, thanks. You're awesome. Now I got to hop on a podcast. Bye.